Hi guys, welcome to Stack Reframe. So in the previous video, we have learned about attribute selector in CSS, isn't it? Now let us move on to learn new selector that is called group selector in CSS. Okay, I'll write here group selector. Now what do you mean by group selector? The group selector in CSS will allow you to select multiple HTML element, okay, and apply the same style to all of them. Okay. Now let me give you one example here. What I will do, I will take some text like H1. I'm writing here, let's say welcome. Okay. Again, I'm writing H2. I'm writing 2. Okay. And I'm writing H3. And I'm writing my. Any dummy text I'm writing, guys, don't argue with this. I'm writing channel. And let's say I'm taking some different tags like P. I'm writing, if I'm writing here my channel name, that is Stack Reframe, isn't it? Now if I have to select this particular H1 tag, H3 tag, H4 tag, okay, and I have to give the same CSS property, I can use here group selector. Okay, let me go live first and I'll show you how it is looking currently. You see, it is looking like normal, isn't it? H1 tag, H2 tag, H3, H4, and this is P tag. Now, let me use group selector here. I'll write here style, okay, and I will write, for example, H1. And how we are going to use group selector? Group selector, it uses comma to separate the selectors, okay. Now we are this one H1. H1 is what? H1 is tag selector, isn't it? But if I have to use multiple tag selectors at the same time, I'm going to use group selector, isn't it? So the group selector uses comma to separate the selector, and whatever the CSS property that you will give, it will be applied to all. Okay, so let me give, for example, I'm taking H1 comma, I'm taking, let's say, H3, okay, comma, I'm taking P. So what, how many tag selectors I have selected? 3 tag selectors, isn't it? H1, H3 and P. Now I'm selecting all in groups, isn't it? Separated by comma. That is why it is called group selector. Okay. I'm now, after that I will use this curly braces, and if whatever the CSS property I will pass, let's say color. If I pass in blue color, now go back and see this H1 tag, this H3 tag, and this P tag is coming blue in color. Why? Because we have selected using group selector and pass the color property blue, isn't it? That is why it is looking like this, isn't it? Now let me give some other CSS property using group selector. For example, I'm writing H2 tag, okay, comma, H4 tag again, and I'm using this flower bracket, and again I'll pass some color, like let's say color is equal to, I'm taking red, isn't it? So now go back and see, it is looking this H2 tag and this H4 tag color is red, while H1, H3 and P tag is blue, isn't it? So this is the way of using group selector. Okay. Now we cannot only use the group selector is very powerful. Why? Because here we are using tag, isn't it? Tags and using group selector. Why? Because we are selecting group. Now you can use multiple things, like you can use class name also, you can use attribute name also, you can use ID name also. Okay. And you can again use group selector, and you can mix you can use a combination of tag selector, class selector, attribute selector, ID selector using group selector. Okay. Now let me give you one example here. For example, what I will do, I will make a division. Okay. Okay. And I will write some dummy text here. Let's say lorem ipsum I'm typing. You see a dummy text is coming. Now how it is looking? It is looking like this, isn't it? Now what I will do, I will write a class name here. For example, class is equal to, let's say dummy I'm writing. Okay. Now this is class is given dummy. Now if I have to select it, how will I do? You see here, what I will do, I will select this P tag also, and I will select this this division tag also, this text using group selector. Now you see how I'm writing. I will first use P, that is a tag selector. Again I will use comma using this. Why? Because we are using group selector here. Again I have to select this particular division, and I will select it using class. So what I will do, we know that class selector is selected using dot class name, isn't it? So I'll write here dot, and again I'll write here dummy. Okay. And again I will use this flower bracket, And for example, if I pass like, let's say font style is equal to, let's say italic I'm doing, isn't it? Now go back and see this particular stack reframe. This is a P tag, isn't it? Now you see this is also coming in italic, and this is a division where we have selected it using class selector, isn't it? Now you see we are using a combination of tag selector and class selector here, isn't it? But we are selecting it using in groups, isn't it? That is why it is called group selector. Okay. Now I think you are pretty clear with how we are going to use this group selector. We can select any type of selectors like tag selector, class selector, id selector using groups. Okay, now let me give one more example. For example, I'm taking one section. Okay, and again I'm giving some dummy text lorem ipsum. Okay, same thing, and again I'm writing here, let's say id is equal to, for example, dummy 2 I'm writing. Okay, now what I will do, I can select again using this group selector mini g. For example, I'm using here hash dummy 2, isn't it? Why? Because hash symbol denotes that we are using id selector, isn't it? Hash followed by id name. So I'm writing here hash dummy, spelling is wrong, no, dummy 2, isn't it? Again, I'm using comma. Then I will use tag selector. For example, I'm selecting h4 tag. So I'm writing h4. Okay. Again, comma. I'll use this class selector again. So I'll write here dot dummy. Okay. Now flower bracket, and whatever the CSS property I'll pass, it will apply to all three. This ID selector also, this tag selector, and this class selector also. For example, if I'm right here, font family is equal to, let's say, this one, Courier New Monospace. Now go back and see, it will be applied to this particular thing. This is a, you see, this one is, let me give one BR tag here so that you will get a better idea. For example, sorry, wait, just a minute. Uh, See, I'm giving them, now you see this one is the particular section. So this is also coming in the same font style. This is the division that we have selected using class selector. This is coming in the same, and this one H4 we have used. See, this also font is changed, isn't it? So this is way we can use group selector. We can use any combination of selectors using group selector. For example, you see here I've used here ID selector, again here tag selector, and again here class selector, isn't it? But we have used a combination, isn't it? And we have separated it using comma. That is why we have used group selector here. Okay, so this is the way of using group selector. Okay, I hope by this video you are clear with how we are going to use group selector and what is group selector. Okay, and also I will share this particular source code also, and the definition and notes also in the description box. Okay, so make sure you subscribe to my channel also, so that you will get the each topic notes also. Okay, and it will be beneficial for me guys to make this grow this channel. Okay, so make sure you, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Okay, so that's it for now guys, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye bye guys, take care.